The stars bent and twisted as Commander Vex's fleet dropped out of hyperspace. 20 warships appeared above the small planet called Keras 5. The planet was green and blue, with white clouds covering parts of its surface. It looked peaceful. Vex hated peaceful things. He stood on the bridge of his flagship, his forearms crossed behind his back. His red eyes scanned the data screens floating in front of him. The target was clear on the display. The Frontier Academy, a human school built on this frontier world. Humans, Vex said to his second-in-command, Lieutenant Krall. Weak creatures from a low-gravity world. They die easily. They break easily. Today we will show them they do not belong in this sector. Krall nodded his massive head. The intelligence reports confirm it, Commander. Humans are fragile, short lives, soft bodies. This will be over quickly. Vex allowed himself a smile. The Talrith Empire had watched humans spread through space for decades. Always building. Always claiming new worlds. This had been Talrith hunting grounds once. Now humans built schools here. Schools for their children. The insult burned in Vex's chest. Begin the assault, he commanded. Down on the planet's surface, alarms screamed through the Frontier Academy halls. Students looked up from their lessons, eyes wide with fear. Principal Sung Ho's voice came through every speaker in the building. This is not a drill. All students report to the emergency bunkers immediately. Teaching staff, initiate defensive protocols. I repeat, this is not a drill. Captain Hana was already moving. She ran through the corridors, her military training taking over. She had left the special forces to teach at this academy, hoping for peace. But peace never lasted long on the frontier. Move, 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 she shouted at students who stood frozen in the halls. Get to the bunkers now. Most students obeyed. They had practiced this drill 100 times. They knew where to go. They ran in organized lines toward the underground shelters. But one student was missing. Daewon was 12 years old. He had dark hair and scared eyes. Right now he was running the wrong way. While everyone else headed to the bunkers, he ran toward the residential wing. Bitey, he called out. Bitey, where are you? His honey badger had escaped again. Bitey did that sometimes. The animal was smart and curious and completely fearless. Daewon had brought him from Earth 2 years ago. The academy allowed students to keep pets. It helped them feel less alone on this distant world, but now the alarms were screaming and Daewon could not find his pet. Captain Hana saw the boy running the wrong direction. She grabbed his shoulder. Daewon! The bunker is that way. I can't leave Bitey. Daewon's voice cracked with panic. He's scared. He's alone. That animal can take care of itself, Hana said. But she saw the determination in the boy's eyes. She knew he would not leave. She made a quick decision. Fine, we find him fast. Then we run. Understood? Daewon nodded. They searched the empty halls together. Through the windows they could see ships descending from the sky. Large dark ships with weapons bristling from their hulls. The ships landed outside the academy walls. Ramps dropped. Soldiers poured out. They're landing, Hana said. Her hand moved to the pistol on her hip. We're out of time. The cafeteria, Daewon said suddenly. He always goes there when he's hungry. They ran to the cafeteria. The large room was empty. Tables and chairs stood in neat rows. But from the kitchen area they heard a strange sound. Metal scraping. Something tearing. Daewon rushed into the kitchen. There was Bitey. The honey badger had somehow opened a sealed container of dried meat. He sat on the floor eating calmly as if the world was not ending outside. Bitey. Daewon scooped up the animal. Bitey made an annoyed sound but did not resist. He continued chewing his stolen food. Got him. Let's go, Hana said. They ran back into the main corridor. But they stopped immediately. The front entrance had been blown open. Smoke filled the air. Through the smoke came soldiers. Tall, armored figures carrying weapons that hummed with energy. And in front of them walked Commander Vex. He was bigger than his soldiers. His armor was decorated with marks of rank and battle honors. His red eyes fixed on Hana and Daewon. He studied them with something like amusement. A soldier and a child, Vex said. His voice was deep and cold. This is what defends the human academy? This is what we feared? His soldiers laughed. The sound echoed through the corridor. Captain Hana pushed Daewon behind her. Her hand stayed on her weapon, but she did not draw it. Not yet. She knew she could not win this fight. Commander Vex, she said. She recognized him from intelligence briefings. This is a school. There are only children here. Children who will grow into soldiers, Vex replied. Children who will spread across more worlds. Take more territory. Your species is a plague, human. Today we begin removing you from this sector. He stepped closer. His soldiers fanned out, blocking any escape route. Vex looked down at Daewon. The boy was small, scared, trembling. Everything the intelligence reports had promised about humans. Look at this one, Vex said to Crawl. Weak, fragile. How did such a species ever reach the stars? Daewon's heart hammered in his chest. He could barely breathe. But he also felt something else. Anger. This alien had come to destroy his school, his home. His friends were hiding underground, terrified. And this creature was laughing about it. Daewon stepped out from behind Captain Hana. His legs shook, but he stayed standing. He still held Bitey in his arms. The honey badger had finished his food and was looking around with mild interest. My honey badger will stop you, Daewon said. His voice was quiet but clear. For a moment there was complete silence. Then Vex laughed. It was a cruel, mocking laugh. His soldiers joined in. The sound filled the corridor. You're what? Vex asked. He leaned down, bringing his face closer to Daewon's. Did you just threaten me with that small animal? Honey badgers are tough, Daewon said. He did not back down. Everyone knows that. Vex laughed harder. Lieutenant Crawl, did you hear that? The human child thinks his pet can fight Talrith warriors. Crawl checked his datapad. A honey badger. Native to Earth, small carnivore, approximately 8 kilograms. No significant threat assessment in our database. 8 kilograms, Vex repeated. He stood up straight, towering over the boy. I weigh 200 kilograms, human. My soldiers are trained killers. Your pet is food. He raised one of his forearms and gestured to his guards. Kill them both, Vex ordered. And kill the little animal, too. I want to see what a honey badger looks like when it dies. The guards raised their weapons. Energy hummed. Targeting lasers painted red dots on Hana and Daewon. Captain Hana prepared to draw her pistol. She knew it was hopeless, but she would die fighting. Daewon set Bitey down on the floor. The honey badger looked up at him, then looked at the approaching soldiers. The animal's whole body language changed. His fur stood up. His claws extended. A low, dangerous growl came from his throat. I tried to warn you, Daewon whispered. The guards fired, but Bitey was already moving. The plasma bolt burned the floor where Bitey had been standing. But the honey badger was no longer there. He moved with a speed that shocked everyone in the corridor. One moment he was sitting calmly. The next moment he was a blur of fur and fury. Bitey hit the nearest guard low, going for the legs. The Talrith warrior wore advanced armor. It could stop most weapons, but Bitey's claws found the joints where the armor plates connected. He tore through the softer material like paper. The guard screamed. It was a high, terrible sound. He tried to shake the animal off, but honey badgers do not let go. Ever. Bitey's teeth sank into the warrior's leg and held on. The guard fell backward, crashing into another soldier. What is happening? Vex shouted. It is just an animal. Kill it. Another guard aimed his weapon at Bitey, but the honey badger was already moving again. He released the first guard and charged the second one. This time he went higher. He climbed up the soldier's body with impossible speed. His claws left deep scratches in the armor. He reached the warrior's helmet and started tearing at the seals. Get it off. Get it off! The guard screamed. He dropped his weapon and tried to grab the animal with both hands. But Bitey twisted and bit one of the hands. The guard's armored glove cracked under the pressure of those jaws. Captain Hana stared in shock. She had seen Bitey around the academy for 2 years. He always seemed lazy, sleeping in sunny spots, begging for food. She had no idea he could move like this. Fight like this, Daewon, she said quietly. What exactly is a honey badger? They're from Africa, Daewon said. He was breathing hard, adrenaline pumping through his system. My dad said they fight lions, and leopards, and anything else. They don't know how to give up. Vex raised his own weapon, a plasma rifle built for his larger frame. He aimed carefully at the small animal that was destroying his elite soldiers. He fired 3 shots in rapid succession. Each shot missed. Bitey dodged the first one. The second one hit the guard he was attacking instead. The third one burned a hole in the wall. The honey badger dropped from the wounded guard and faced Vex directly. For the first time since arriving at the academy, Commander Vex felt something he had not expected. Uncertainty. This small creature from Earth was looking at him with no fear at all. Just pure focused aggression. Impossible, Vex muttered. It is just an animal from a weak world. Bitey charged at Vex himself. The warlord was ready this time. He brought his rifle down like a club. The heavy weapon should have crushed the small animal. But Bitey twisted in midair. The rifle passed over him. He landed on Vex's arm and ran up toward his face. Vex roared in surprise and anger. He tried to grab Bitey with his other hands. The honey badger was too fast. He reached Vex's helmet and started tearing at the breathing filters. His claws scratched deep marks in the supposedly unbreakable faceplate. "Commander," Krall rushed forward to help. But Bitey suddenly released a thick, terrible smell, a defensive musk that honey badgers used when threatened. The smell hit Krall like a physical force. He stumbled backward, gagging. The other guards were already backing away. 2 were down, wounded and bleeding. The others had weapons but seemed afraid to fire. They might hit their commander. And they had all seen what happened when they missed the small creature. Captain Hana grabbed Day-One's arm. Now, while they're distracted, they ran. Behind them, they could hear Vex cursing and struggling. They heard the sound of Bitey's claws on armor. They heard more screaming. Hana pulled Day-One down a side corridor. They ran past empty classrooms, past the library, past the science labs. The bunker entrance was just ahead. A heavy door built into the floor. "Captain Hana!" a voice called from a doorway. It was Jamin, Day-One's best friend. He was 13 and thin and always covered in grease from working on machines. "I waited for you. Everyone else is down already. Get in the bunker now," Hana ordered. They all ran to the entrance. Hana pulled the heavy door open. Below them, stairs led down into the reinforced shelter, but Day-One stopped at the top of the stairs. He looked back the way they had come. "Bitey," he said. "We left him." "That animal saved our lives," Hana said firmly. "But we cannot go back. If we do, he saved us for nothing. But down. Now. That is an order." Day-One's eyes filled with tears, but he obeyed. He went down the stairs. Jamin followed. Captain Hana took one last look at the empty corridor. Then she descended and sealed the door behind them. The bunker was large. It had been built to hold all 500 students and staff of the academy. Everyone was there now, crowded into the reinforced space. The younger children were crying. The older students tried to comfort them. Teachers moved through the crowd, counting heads, making sure no one was missing. Principal Sung Ho stood at the command center. Screens showed different views of the academy above. Security cameras captured everything. He was an older man with gray hair and steady hands. He had been a soldier once, long ago. Now he was a teacher. But today he was a soldier again. "Captain Hana," he said as she approached. "Report. Commander Vex is here personally," Hana said. "At least 20 soldiers with him." They breached the main entrance. "We encountered them on the way here. You fought them?" Sung Ho asked. "No, sir. We ran, but..." Hana hesitated. How could she explain what they had seen? Day-One's pet attacked them. The honey badger. It hurt several soldiers and gave us time to escape. Sung Ho looked at her carefully. "A honey badger attacked Talrith warriors?" "Yes, sir." "And survived?" "It was still fighting when we left." Sung Ho turned to his screens. He switched through different camera feeds. Most showed Talrith soldiers moving through the academy corridors. They moved carefully now, weapons ready, like they expected danger. Then Sung Ho found the right camera. The feed showed the main corridor near the entrance. He zoomed in. There was Bitey. The honey badger stood in the middle of the corridor. Around him were 4 Talrith warriors. They formed a circle trying to surround the small animal, but none of them wanted to get close. They had seen what he did to their companions. Vex stood behind them. His armor was scratched and damaged. Part of his helmet had been torn away. He looked furious. "That creature," Vex was saying. His voice came through the audio feed. "That small earth creature has wounded my best soldiers. This is unacceptable." "Sir," Krall said carefully, "perhaps we should reconsider our intelligence about Earth species." "It is one animal," Vex roared. "We are the Talrith Empire. We have conquered 17 worlds. We will not be defeated by something that weighs less than our rations." "Of course not, sir," Krall said. But he did not sound certain. Sung Ho watched the screen in silence. Then he started typing commands into his console. He pulled up files, records, data about Earth animals that students had brought to the academy over the years. "Captain Hana," he said slowly. How many Earth animals do we currently have at this facility? Hana thought about it. We have the biology labs. Students bring pets from home. Maybe 30 or 40 different species? Pull up the list, Sung-ho ordered. Daewon had joined them. He stood next to Jae-min, watching Bitey on the screen. His pet was still holding the corridor, still refusing to back down. Pride and worry fought in Daewon's chest. Jae-min was looking at the animal list on Sung-ho's screen. His eyes went wide. Principal, Jae-min said. Are you thinking what I think you're thinking? Sung-ho smiled. It was not a nice smile. It was the smile of a soldier who just found a weapon he did not know he had. Students, Sung-ho said, tell me everything you know about Earth predators. Above them, in the academy corridors, Bitey faced down another group of Talrith soldiers. They had brought more weapons, more armor, more warriors. But the honey badger did not care. Honey badgers never cared about odds. They had evolved on a planet where everything was trying to kill them. They had survived by being tougher, meaner, and more stubborn than anything else. Bitey growled low in his throat. The soldiers hesitated. The battle for the Frontier Academy was just beginning. The list on Principal Sung-ho's screen was longer than Captain Hana expected. She read through the names of animals. Some were familiar, others she had never heard of. Cassowaries, Jae-min said, pointing at the screen. Yuna's senior biology class has 3 of them. They're like giant birds. Really aggressive. How aggressive? Sung-ho asked. They can kill people, Daewon said quietly. With their claws. My dad told me never to get near one. Sung-ho nodded. He made a note on his tablet. What else? Wolverines, another student said. She was older, maybe 16. Her name was Bo-ra. The environmental science lab has 2. They're related to badgers, but bigger. Much bigger, Cape Buffalo, Jae-min added. Professor Tae-hyun brought 4 of them last year for the farming program. He said they're the most dangerous animal in Africa. More dangerous than lions. Captain Hana was starting to understand. You want to release them? These aliens came to destroy our school, Sung-ho said. His voice was calm but hard. They think humans are weak. They think Earth is a weak world. Perhaps it is time we showed them what kind of world we come from. He pulled up a map of the academy on his screen. The building had 3 levels. Most of the Talrith forces were on the ground floor, spreading out through the corridors. They were searching classrooms, looking for humans to capture or kill. The biology labs are on the 2nd floor, Sung-ho said. We can access them through the ventilation system. There are emergency override controls that will open the habitats remotely. And then what? Hana asked. We just hope these animals attack the right targets? No, Jae-min said. He was already typing on a different console. We guide them. Look, the academy has motion sensors everywhere, climate controls, airflow systems. We can make certain corridors warmer or cooler. We can create sounds. We can make the animals go where we want them to go. This is insane, Hana said. Yes, Sung-ho agreed. But do you have a better idea, Captain? Hana looked at the screens. She saw Talrith soldiers moving through her classroom, through the library she had organized, through the halls where children had laughed and learned. These aliens had come to take everything from them. No, she said finally. I do not have a better idea. Then we begin, Sung-ho said. Yuna was summoned to the command center. She was 14 years old and tall for her age. She had spent 2 years studying with the Academy's biology department. She knew every animal in their collection. Can you do this? Sung-ho asked her. Can you release them safely? Yuna looked at the map. At the ventilation routes, at the override controls, I can release them. But safely? Principal, these are dangerous animals. Once they are out, I cannot control what they do. We do not need control, Sung-ho said. We need chaos, Yuna smiled. It was a fierce smile. Then yes, I can do that. She worked quickly. Her hands moved across the control panels. On the screens, they could see the biology lab doors opening. Heavy security locks disengaging, habitat barriers sliding away. The cassowaries emerged first. They were huge birds, taller than a man. Their legs were thick with muscle. Their feet ended in claws like daggers. They had bright blue heads and black feathers covering their bodies. They looked around the empty lab with curiosity. Now what? Hana asked. Jae-min activated the environmental controls. He made the corridor outside the lab warmer. He activated speakers that played sounds of movement. The cassowaries heard the sounds, sensed the warmth. They moved toward the doorway. In the main corridor on the second floor, a Talrith patrol was searching classrooms. 6 soldiers moved in formation. Their weapons swept the area. They were being careful now. After what happened with the honey badger, they were not taking chances. They heard a sound, a deep booming call. It echoed through the corridor. The soldiers stopped. They raised their weapons. 3 cassowaries rounded the corner at full speed. The birds moved fast, faster than something that large should be able to move. Their claws made clicking sounds on the floor. "What are those?" One soldier shouted. "Shoot them!" Another ordered. They fired. Plasma bolts burned through the air. One hit a cassowary in the chest. The bird screeched but did not stop. The bolt had wounded it but not killed it. The cassowary reached the first soldier and kicked. The claw went through the soldier's armor. Through his chest, the warrior fell without another sound. The other cassowaries attacked. They kicked and pecked with their sharp beaks. The Talrith soldiers tried to fight back, but these birds had evolved to defend themselves against the deadliest predators on Earth. Armored aliens did not frighten them. In the bunker, everyone watched in silence. The screen showed violence and chaos, but they also showed something else. They showed the Talrith forces falling back, retreating, afraid. "Release the next group," Sung-Ho ordered. Yuna opened the wolverine habitat. The 2 animals emerged into the corridor. They were low to the ground with dark fur and powerful jaws. They looked like small bears with bad attitudes. They smelled blood from the cassowary attack. They smelled fear. They moved toward it. More Talrith patrols encountered Earth animals. More soldiers fell. The aliens were trained warriors with advanced weapons, but they had never fought opponents that ignored pain, that never stopped attacking, that were built by millions of years of evolution on a planet where only the toughest survived. Commander Vex received the reports in disbelief. "Explain to me," he said slowly to Lieutenant Krall, "how we are losing soldiers to animals." "These are not normal animals, Commander," Krall said. He was looking at his datapad with growing concern. "I am reading the files about Earth now. It is classified as a Category 9 death world, one of the most dangerous planets in the known galaxy." "That is impossible," Vex said. "Humans are weak, fragile." "Yes," Krall agreed. "But that is because they evolved on a world where everything else was trying to kill them. These animals, they come from the same world. They evolved alongside humans. They are apex predators from a death world." Vex grabbed the datapad and read it himself. His red eyes grew wide. The file listed Earth's predators: lions, bears, crocodiles, sharks, snakes, spiders. Even the plants were dangerous on Earth. Some of them ate animals. Others poisoned anything that touched them. "Why was this not in our intelligence briefing?" Vex demanded. "Because our analyst focused on humans," Krall said. "They did not think to study Earth's other life forms. They assumed animals from a low-gravity world would be harmless." "Assumptions," Vex said bitterly. "Assumptions are killing my warriors." Another report came through. A patrol had been wiped out by something called a Cape Buffalo. The massive animals had charged through a classroom wall and trampled the soldiers. Another patrol had been attacked by a creature called a cassowary. 3 soldiers were dead. 2 more were badly wounded. And through it all, that cursed honey badger was still fighting, still refusing to die, still making his soldiers look like fools. "Fall back to the main assembly hall," Vex ordered. "Everyone, regroup there. We will make our stand in a defensible position." The Talrith forces obeyed. They moved carefully through the corridors. They watched every shadow, every doorway. They reached the large assembly hall on the ground floor and formed a defensive perimeter. Vex stood in the center. His armor was damaged. His pride was damaged worse. He had come to this academy expecting an easy victory, a way to strike fear into human colonists across the sector. Instead, he was being humiliated by animals. "We hold here," he announced to his troops. "These creatures cannot think strategically. They cannot coordinate. We have superior position and firepower. When they come, we will destroy them all." His soldiers formed a circle, weapons pointed outward. They were experienced warriors. They had fought in dozens of battles, but they had never fought anything like this. In the rafters above them, something moved. The soldiers did not notice at first. They were watching the doors, the windows, the obvious approaches. They did not think to look up. Not until Bitey dropped from the ceiling onto Commander Vex's shoulders. The honey badger had been tracking the warlord through the ventilation system. following his scent, waiting for the right moment. Now he had it. Bitey's claws dug into the gaps in Vex's armor. His teeth found the exposed cables on the back of Vex's helmet. The commander roared in pain and surprise. He spun around trying to throw the animal off. But honey badgers never let go. The Talrith soldiers watched in horror as their mighty commander struggled with a creature that weighed 8 kilograms. Some raised their weapons, but they could not fire without hitting Vex. "Get it off me!" Vex screamed. "Somebody get this thing off me." Crawl ran forward. He grabbed Bitey with both hands and pulled. The honey badger released Vex and immediately attacked Crawl instead. He bit through the lieutenant's glove and held on. Crawl tried to shake him off, but Bitey climbed up his arm toward his face. In the bunker, students were cheering. Daewon watched his pet with pride and terror. Bitey was doing the impossible. He was making an army retreat. He was making a warlord afraid. But Daewon also knew that Bitey was just one small animal. He could not fight forever. Eventually, the Talrith would overwhelm him. Eventually, they would win, unless the humans gave Bitey help. "Send in the buffalo," Daewon said suddenly. Everyone looked at him. This quiet 12-year-old boy who had started all of this. "The Cape Buffalo," Daewon repeated. "Send them to the assembly hall, now." The Cape Buffalo moved like living tanks. Each animal weighed more than 5 Talrith soldiers combined. Their hooves shook the floor. Their horns could pierce armor like it was cloth. The first buffalo hit a group of soldiers who were trying to form a defensive line. The line broke immediately. Warriors flew through the air. Some crashed into walls. Others fell under the buffalo's hooves. The sounds of screaming filled the assembly hall. "Retreat!" Crawl shouted. "Fall back to the entrance!" But the entrance was blocked. More animals had arrived. The wolverines came through the doorways, low and fast. The cassowaries appeared from side corridors. They surrounded the Talrith forces from every direction. Commander Vex fired his plasma rifle at the nearest buffalo. The bolt hit the animal in the shoulder. The buffalo bellowed in pain but did not stop. It lowered its head and charged at Vex. The warlord dove to the side. The buffalo's horn missed him by centimeters. It hit a support pillar instead. The pillar cracked. "This is insane," Vex shouted. "These are just animals. We have superior weapons, superior technology. Tell that to them," one of his soldiers yelled back. He was running from a cassowary. The bird chased him across the hall, its claws clicking on the floor. Bitey had recovered. The honey badger shook himself and looked around at the chaos. He saw Vex, the warlord, was trying to reach the main doors, trying to escape. Bitey was not going to let that happen. He charged across the hall. A Talrith soldier tried to stop him. Bitey ran under the soldier's legs and kept going. Nothing was going to stop him from reaching his target. Vex saw the honey badger coming. He raised his rifle and fired. 3 shots, 4, 5. Each shot missed by inches. Bitey dodged and weaved between obstacles. He was small and fast and absolutely determined. The honey badger reached Vex and jumped. He aimed for the warlord's face. Vex caught him in midair with one of his 4 hands. He held Bitey at arm's length. The animal twisted and snarled and tried to bite. Finally, Vex said, "I have you." He started to squeeze. His armored hand tightened around Bitey's body. The honey badger made a sound of pain. Vex smiled. He was going to crush this creature. He was going to end this humiliation. Then something hit Vex from the side. A cassowary had seen the warlord holding a smaller animal. The bird's instincts told it to protect the smaller creature. It kicked Vex in the ribs with its massive claw. Vex's armor cracked. He released Bitey and fell to his knees. The cassowary kicked again. This time the claw caught Vex in the shoulder. The warlord screamed. He rolled away and tried to stand. In the bunker, Yamin was working frantically at his console. "I have access to Commander Vex's command frequency," he said. "His whole fleet can hear anything we broadcast on it. What are you thinking?" Captain Hana asked. "Watch," Jamin said. He was smiling. He pulled up the security camera footage from the assembly hall. The images showed the battle in all its chaos. Talrith warriors running from animals. Commander Vex on his knees defeated by a honey badger and a bird. It was the complete opposite of what the Talrith Empire wanted the galaxy to see. Jamin hit a button. The footage began broadcasting on the Talrith command frequency. Every ship in orbit could see it. Every soldier still fighting in the academy could see it. Soon, every Talrith commander in the entire sector would see it. The mighty Commander Vex. terror of 3-star systems brought low by Earth animals. On his flagship in orbit, the ship's first officer watched the broadcast in shock. Around him, other Talrith crew members stared at their screens. They saw their commander being humiliated. They saw their elite soldiers running from creatures they had never heard of. "Sir," the communications officer said quietly, "other ships are receiving this broadcast. The entire fleet knows." The first officer's mandibles clicked together in anger and shame. This was a disaster. Not just a military defeat, but a complete loss of honor. Every warrior in the Talrith Empire would see this. Every enemy would see this. They would become a joke. "Prepare to extract ground forces," the first officer ordered. "All of them, immediately." In the assembly hall, Vex's helmet communicator crackled to life. "Commander, this is Fleet Command. We are ordering immediate evacuation. The operation is compromised." "No!" Vex roared. He tried to stand, but the cassowary was still nearby, watching him with its cold bird eyes. "We cannot retreat. We must destroy this place. Sir, the footage is being broadcast across multiple channels. Our reputation is already destroyed. If we lose more warriors to these creatures, it will be even worse." A Cape buffalo chose that moment to charge past Vex, chasing a group of his soldiers. The massive animal did not even look at the commander. Vex was no longer important. He was no longer the most dangerous thing in the room. That realization hurt more than any wound. "Lieutenant Krall," Vex said quietly, "sound the retreat." Krall was fighting off a wolverine. The animal had latched onto his leg and would not let go. He finally kicked it away and activated his communicator. "All units withdraw to extraction points. The mission is aborted." The Talrith soldiers did not need to be told twice. They ran for the exits. They ran for the landing zone outside. They ran from animals that had proven more dangerous than any enemy they had faced before. Bitey chased them. The honey badger followed the soldiers all the way to the main entrance. He watched them flee into the darkness beyond. Then he sat down, panting. He had won. His territory was safe. The other animals slowly calmed down. The buffalo stopped charging. The cassowaries stopped attacking. The wolverines retreated to shadowed corners. Without enemies to fight, they lost interest in the battle. Yuna carefully activated the recall protocols. She used sounds and scents to guide the animals back toward the biology labs. It took time, but eventually, all the Earth creatures returned to their habitats. All except one. Bitey refused to go back. He sat in the main corridor, covered in scratches and bruises. He was exhausted, but he stayed alert, just in case the enemies came back. Outside, the Talrith dropships were launching. The soldiers piled into the transports as fast as they could. They did not care about formation or order anymore. They just wanted to leave this cursed planet. Commander Vex was the last to board. He turned and looked back at the academy. The building stood intact, damaged in places but still standing, still defiant. He had failed completely. Krall stood beside him. "Sir, what do we tell the High Command?" Vex was silent for a long moment. He thought about lying, about making excuses. But the footage existed. The truth would come out eventually. "We tell them the truth," Vex said finally. "We tell them that humans come from a death world, that they do not just survive on that world. They thrive on it. They make friends with its predators. They bring those predators with them to the stars." "They will not believe it," Krall said. "They will when they see the footage," Vex replied. "They will when they see what happened here." The dropship lifted off. Through the window, Vex could see the academy growing smaller. He could see the lights of the bunker entrance opening. Small figures emerging, human students and teachers returning to their home. "Issue a general warning," Vex ordered. "To all Talrith forces in this sector, Earth colonies are to be avoided. Humans are not weak prey. They are Deathworlders. Treat them accordingly." "Yes, Commander," Krall said. The dropships reached orbit and docked with the fleet. Within minutes, the entire Talrith armada began jumping to hyperspace. They left Karis 5 behind. They left their dead behind. They left their pride behind. In the academy, the bunker doors opened fully. Principal Sung Ho emerged first, followed by Captain Hana. Then came the students. They moved carefully at first, looking for danger. But the danger was gone. Daewon ran ahead of everyone else. He knew where Bitey would be. He found his honey badger sitting in the main corridor right where he had last seen him. The animal looked tired. He had scratches on his nose and a cut above one eye. But he was alive, Bitey! Daewon dropped to his knees and carefully picked up his pet. Bitey made a soft sound. Not aggressive this time. Just tired and glad to see his human. The other students gathered around. They all wanted to see the animal that had started everything, the creature that had defeated a warlord. He is really small, one student said. Size does not matter, Yuna replied. Not when you come from Earth. Captain Hana was checking the security systems. The Talrith fleet is leaving the system, she reported. They are really retreating. Of course they are, Jamin said. He was still at his console, monitoring the Talrith communications. Listen to this. He played an audio recording. It was from the Talrith command channel. Officers were discussing the battle. Their voices were shocked, confused, afraid. Did you see the footage? Those creatures destroyed our best warriors. What kind of world produces animals like that? A death world. Category 9, I looked it up. Earth is one of the most dangerous planets in the galaxy. And humans live there? With those things? Not just live. They keep them as pets. They bring them to other worlds. They are insane. Or they are the most dangerous species we have ever encountered. Jamin stopped the recording. Everyone in the corridor was silent. They are afraid of us now, he said, because of what they saw here. Principal Sung-ho looked at Daewon holding his honey badger, at Yuna, who had released the other animals. 3 weeks passed after the attack. The Frontier Academy was still standing. Workers had repaired the damaged walls. They had fixed the broken doors. They had cleaned up the battle damage. But some things could not be fixed so easily. The students were different now. They walked with more confidence. They looked at the stars without as much fear. They had learned something important. They were not helpless. Even when facing a superior enemy, humans could find a way to survive. Daewon sat in the cafeteria during lunch period. Bitey was beside him, eating from a bowl of fresh meat. The honey badger had become famous across the academy. Students wanted to pet him. Teachers wanted to study him. But Bitey did not care about fame. He cared about food and sleep and his human. Nothing else mattered. You know he has fan pages now? Jamin said. He sat across from Daewon with his tablet. Look, someone made this video compilation of him fighting the Talrith. It has 10 million views. Daewon looked at the screen. The video showed security footage from the battle. Bitey dodging plasma fire, Bitey climbing Talrith warriors, Bitey refusing to back down. The title read, Honey Badger Destroys Alien Army. 10 million? Daewon said quietly. That is a lot. It is everywhere, Yuna added. She joined them at the table with her food tray. Not just on human networks. Other species are watching it too. My mom sent me a message. She said alien news channels are talking about Earth animals now. They are calling our planet the dangerous world. Better than calling it the weak world, Jamin said. Captain Hana walked past their table. She stopped and smiled at Bitey. How is our hero today? Hungry, Daewon said. Always hungry. He earned it, Hana replied. We all did. She continued to the staff table. Principal Sung-ho was there, talking with other teachers. They were reviewing reports from Earth Command. The reports were full of questions. How had a group of students and teachers defeated Talrith warriors? What weapons had they used? What tactics? The truth was almost too simple to believe. They had not used advanced weapons. They had used what they had. Animals from home. Creatures that most people never thought of as weapons. But Earth had no weapons that were not dangerous. Earth had no life that was not a survivor. Principal Sung-ho, Captain Hana said as she sat down. Have you read the latest intelligence reports? Sung-ho nodded. I have. Talrith forces are avoiding human colonies across the sector. Commander Vex submitted a detailed report to his high command. He recommended against any further attacks on Earth interests. Because of Bitey? Because of what Bitey represents, Sung-ho corrected. The Talrith now understand that humans evolved on a death world. They understand that our animals are not like animals from other planets. They are predators that survived millions of years of competition. The galaxy is realizing that Earth is dangerous in ways they never considered. One of the other teachers spoke up. Is that good for us? Being known as the dangerous species? It is better than being known as the easy targets, Sung Ho replied. Outside the academy, work crews were installing new defenses, but they were also building something else, a monument. It stood near the main entrance, made of local stone. The inscription was simple. Here, the Frontier Academy was defended by its students, its teachers, and Earth's finest predators. Remember that courage comes in all sizes. At the bottom was an image, a honey badger standing defiant. The monument had been Principal Sung Ho's idea. He wanted people to remember what happened here. Not just the victory, but the lesson. Humans were survivors. They came from a world that had tried to kill them for millions of years. They had not just survived, they had thrived. They had made that dangerous world their home, and when they went to the stars, they brought pieces of that world with them. In his office, Principal Sung Ho received a video call. The screen showed a human admiral in Earth Force uniform. The woman looked tired but pleased. "Principal, I have been reviewing your report," the admiral said. "It is quite extraordinary." "Thank you, Admiral," Sung Ho replied. "Earth Command wants to study your defense strategy, using native Earth animals in combat situations. It is unconventional, but the results speak for themselves." "With respect, Admiral, it was not really a strategy. It was desperation. We used what we had." "The best strategies often come from desperation," the Admiral said. "Regardless, your actions here have had an unexpected benefit. Alien species across multiple sectors are reassessing their view of humanity. Some are afraid, others are curious, but none of them are dismissing us as weak anymore." "I am glad something good came from the attack," Sung Ho said. "More than you know," the Admiral replied. 3 different alien governments have requested meetings with Earth diplomats. They want to establish better relations. They want to avoid conflict with the Deathworlders. Your students and one very determined honey badger may have prevented a much larger war. After the call ended, Sung Ho sat in his office for a long time. He thought about the attack, about how close they had come to disaster, about the students hiding in the bunker, terrified and brave at the same time. He thought about Daewon, a 12-year-old boy who had refused to abandon his pet, who had said the words that started everything. "My honey badger will stop you." At the time, it had seemed like the desperate claim of a frightened child. Now those words were spreading across the galaxy. People were not laughing anymore. That evening, the Academy held a special assembly. All the students gathered in the repaired assembly hall, the same hall where the final battle had taken place. The floors had been cleaned, the walls had been fixed, but everyone remembered what had happened here. Principal Sung Ho stood at the front of the room. Beside him were Captain Hana, Yuna, and Jaemin, and sitting on a special cushion was Baiti, looking confused about all the attention. 3 weeks ago, Sung Ho began. This academy was attacked. An alien warlord came here to destroy us, to prove that humans did not belong on the frontier, to show the galaxy that we were weak. The students listened in silence. "He was wrong," Sung Ho continued. "We are not weak. We are survivors. We come from a world that tested us every day, that made us tough, that taught us to never give up, no matter the odds." He gestured to Baiti. "This animal, this small creature that weighs less than most of your backpacks, showed the galaxy what it means to be from Earth. He showed them that we do not measure strength by size. We measure it by courage, by determination, by the refusal to surrender." The students began to clap. The sound grew louder. Soon, everyone was standing. They were not just applauding Baiti. They were applauding themselves. They had survived. They had won. Daewon was called to the front. He walked nervously through the crowd. When he reached the stage, Principal Sung Ho placed a hand on his shoulder. "Daewon showed us something important," Sung Ho said. "He showed us that heroes come in all forms, that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is refuse to leave your friend behind, even when armies are invading, even when warships are in orbit, even when common sense says to run." Sung Ho presented Daewon with a medal. It was simple, made of local materials, but it meant everything. The inscription read, For courage beyond size. Daewon accepted the medal with shaking hands. He looked out at all the students staring at him. He wanted to say something important, but his mind was blank. Then Bitey made a sound, a soft grunt. The honey badger was getting bored with all the attention. He wanted food. He wanted a nap. He wanted normal things. Everyone laughed. The tension broke. Daewon smiled and picked up his pet. Bitey wants to say, Daewon spoke quietly into the microphone, that he was just protecting his home. That is what honey badgers do. That is what all Earth animals do. And that is what humans do too. The applause started again, louder this time. Later that night, Daewon sat in his dormitory room. Through the window, he could see the stars. Somewhere up there, the Talrith Empire was reassessing their plans. Other alien species were watching humanity with new eyes. Fear and respect mixed together, all because of one small animal that refused to back down. Bitey was curled up on the bed, sleeping peacefully. He snored softly. His paws twitched like he was dreaming. Maybe he was dreaming about the battle. Maybe he was dreaming about food. Honey badgers were simple creatures in some ways, but they were also survivors, just like humans. Jaemin came into the room. "Hey, you awake?" "Yeah," Daewon said. "I have been thinking," Jaemin said. He sat on his own bed across the room. About what happened. About why it worked. Why it worked. The animals. Why they were so effective against the Talrith. Jaemin pulled out his tablet and showed Daewon some charts. "I did some research. Most alien species come from worlds with lower gravity than Earth, with less competition, with fewer predators. Their animals evolved differently." "Safer," Daewon said. "Exactly. Safer. So when they encountered Earth animals, they were not prepared. Their armor was designed for energy weapons. Their tactics were designed for conventional combat. They never expected to fight opponents that used claws and teeth and pure aggression." "Bitey is very aggressive," Daewon agreed. "All Earth predators are," Jaemin said, "because they had to be. On our world, if you were not aggressive, you died. If you gave up, you died. If you showed fear, you died. So our animals learned to never give up, never show fear, always fight."